Hello and welcome to another Licks Livestream. This week I'm gonna take you guys into the sexy, dreamy landscape of Lo-Fi Hip Hop style chords on the guitar. And basically I'm gonna do that by showing you this week's Wednesday warm-up. So yeah, I had a few requests for like an in-depth lesson on this one. So I thought, hey, I'll do it for our Licks Livestream. Just like this. So I'm going to show you exactly how to play the chords, and we'll talk a little bit about the theory, things like that. Let me play the example first of all, or the exercise, and as always with the Wednesday warm-ups, you got free tab for it, that's linked below. And you can also watch the actual video where you can hear the little sort of lesson piece, and that's linked below as well. And yeah, you can get the tab, it's all free. And also if you want to get all my tabs, obviously they are all on Patreon, so check out the link for Patreon as well if you want to join me there. Appreciate the support very much on there, and I'm always adding tons of content to the Patreon site. So that's basically where all of my tabs are. Also all of my lessons, and lessons like this one that'll end up there as well. Not all of my live streams stay up, but all of them will be available from my Patreon. So there we go, guys. Let me play the example for you, and then we will dive into it. So it's in D major. All right, so it's in D major. Got a D major 7 chord right there, and as you may very well notice, I mean, these are pretty standard jazz chords, major 7 chords, and there's a minor 9 chord there. So really they're not just, you know, lo-fi hip hop or lo-fi jazz or chill hop or jazz hop chords. They're pretty basic jazz chords, and that's worth knowing, because obviously you can take these chords and use them in tons of different scenarios. Even in, like, you know, more bluesy kind of context, you can add that little bit of jazz flavor. So you know, even if lo-fi hip hop isn't your thing, you can definitely take these chords and use them in a ton of different ways. So we've got a D major 7 chord to start with. Okay, that's your first chord. Now, sound-wise as well, we've talked about it before, but you know, I'm using my neck pickup. I've rolled almost all the tone off, and also for this whole example, I'm using like the Wes Montgomery style thumb vibe. So literally everything I play is played very softly using my thumb on this here example. So even the lines, you know, even the single note lines are played with my thumb. So you know, that's how you get that kind of jazzy sound. And also I've got some reverb on, so that helps the sort of dreamy vibe as well. But that's it sound wise and playing wise. So a whole lot of thumb action right there. All right, so first finger on the 5th fret of the A string, 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the D string, second finger on the 6th fret of the G string, and little finger goes on the 7th fret of the B string. Like that. So that right there is a classic, you know, it's A shape. Just a classic major 7 chord shape on the guitar. So D major 7. That's your first chord, and I strum it so I don't go like that quickly. I strum it very slowly so that it gets like a rolling kind of vibe to it, yeah? Like that. Now next up, we're gonna take this chord. This is actually the same chord. It's got the 5th of the D, the root note, the major 3rd, and the major 7. So put all those together and you have a D major 7 chord. As you can see in the video, you know, I've called the D major 7 over A because, well, just to be clear, you know, it's got an A note in the bass. That's the lowest note. But I could have just written D major 7. It's just another inversion of a D major 7. So very simple chord, but it just sounds so beautiful. And also it has got a little twist, which is like a, you know, like a neo soul kind of lo-fi hip hop thing, which is to do that. Add another little note there. So basically I'm barring on the 7th fret with my first finger, top 4 strings, like that. So I got that note there, which is the 6th of D, the B. I've got that included as well, but I'm gonna hammer on to the 9th fret of the top E string. Like that, so slowly rolling down the strings, kind of like sweep picking with your thumb, basically. Like that. And then hammering on for that beautiful major 7 sound. Love it. So, that's your second chord. Okay, so first chord. And then second chord. Okay? And now we're going to do this chord here. So this is a G major 7. I'm playing the F sharp there. It's second finger on the 4th fret of the D string. 3rd finger on the 4th fret of the G string. That's the 3rd of G. And then the 5th of G is played with the 1st finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And that's actually all I'm playing right here. Okay? I'm not actually playing the root note, but if you listen to the backing track, which you can also get, it's all free, link below. So on the backing track, you can hear the G because it's played in the piano. But we're not actually playing it. I'm just playing the top of the chord right there. So that's, you know, extremely common for jazz in general, right? That you don't bother playing the root note always, you know. Sometimes it's actually annoying for a bass player if you play the root note. So I've left out the root note in this chord here, the G major 7. You can play there with your thumb if you like on the 3rd fret. But yeah, that is your G major 7. So if you're thinking about the key, you know, it's D, while the G is just your 4 chord made into a 4-note chord. So G major 7. Now we're gonna go to the last chord. It's very simple. The last chord is this chord, which is an E minor 9. Beautiful chord. Like that. So that one is your, well, if you're in D major, it's just your 2. It's your 2 chord. So the progression goes 1, 4, 2. That's it. Okay, so let's play that chord, the 2 chord. You got your 2nd finger on the 7th fret of the A string, 1st finger on the 5th fret of the D string, and then I'm using my 3rd finger on the 7th fret of the G string and my little finger on the 7th fret of the B string. And again, you know, I'm strumming it gradually like that. Okay? That's almost all of it. That's basically the exercise. 4 lovely chords that you can use in so many ways. Okay? Then there's just a little, a couple of little twists and turns. Let me play it for you one more time so you can hear those little twists and turns. G major 7, E minor 9, and then it just goes again. Okay? But this time, we're gonna go this. And then this chord. Okay, so just a few little licks mixed into the scenario. So second time around, we go D major 7 again, and this shape of D major 7. You could say D major 7 with A in the bass if you like. And now we're gonna go and do this. Okay, again, using my thumb. So that's 7, hammering on to 9 with my 3rd finger, and then pulling off while I'm still holding that chord down. And then I'm going to play the 7th fret on the B string after doing the little hammer on and pull off on the E string. So a little bit of a lick there. So okay, finally we got again the G major 7, but now we're going to add a little bit of a lick, which, I mean, if you see it from G major 7, you're adding the major 9 to the major 7 and just playing the 5th. So I'm talking about chord tones here. Always, I'm always thinking in chord tones and relation to the chord, but also in relation to the key. If you look at it from relation to the key, well, this is just a D triad. So very simple, but it sounds lovely because we are on a G major 7 chord there, and these are what you would call upper extensions. The 9th and the major 7. So it sounds kind of jazzy and lovely. I think so anyway. Okay, so we play the G major 7 like we've already done, and then you use your little finger on the 5th fret of the top E string, and I'm gonna play this with a bit of staccato. So staccato meaning, the note goes like that rather than ringing. It just goes like that. So as soon as you pressed it, you can let go of it with your left hand. It's a nice little technique for a more sort of diverse articulation of phrases. Adding a little bit of staccato in there can really help. So that's that note, and then we're gonna play the F sharp there, 2nd fret of the top E string with your 1st finger, and then again we're gonna play that D note there on the 3rd fret of the B string with a bit of staccato as well. So okay, and now we're gonna play the E minor 9 again. Yeah, and then we are going to play this chord, which is a pretty sexy sounding chord. And this here is basically an A13. So I'm basically doing a 2-5-1. I'm doing the 2, which is E minor 9, and then the 5, A13, going back to the 1, the D major 7. Okay, so, but crucially, I'm actually only changing one note. I'm only changing that D note there. It goes down to C sharp. So I'm not actually playing the root note I'm making it an A13 with E in the bass. Like that. So pretty sexy, jazzy chord. A13 with E in the bass. So really just a second inversion of a 13th chord. But a lovely sound. So I'm using my third finger on the 7th fret of the A string. And then first finger on the 5th fret of the D string. Second finger on the 6th fret of the G string, and then little finger still on the 7th fret of the B string. Love that sound. So E minor 9 going to A13 over E. Going back to the D major 7. So that's actually a 2-5-1 right there. All right, and yeah, the very last, so then it repeats, but the very last chord is again D major 7. But this time we're gonna use this bar, first finger bar on the 5th fret, and also play that top note, the top A there on the 5th fret of the E string. So right there, and obviously you can add some vibrato if you have a whammy bar. In general, you can be doing that to these chords, or you can do what I do sometimes, which is, just bend the neck slightly. Obviously, make sure that your guitar can take that kind of abuse, because if it can't, you may break the guitar out of its socket, or the neck out of its socket. Trust me, I've done that to guitars whilst playing jazzy chords and going. Totally done that. So yeah, make sure that your guitar can take that kind of abuse if you're gonna give vibrato to your chords like that. All right, so that's it. Nice and dreamy kind of chords, obviously very common in the lo-fi kind of style. Just very pleasant to listen to, and yeah, I have myself been putting out a lot of this kind of stuff recently. This kind of vibe of music, really dig it. I'm really getting into it, and I've got a couple of albums actually coming out on major labels within the genre that I have created with a couple of artists already fairly established in the genre. Very much looking forward to sharing that kind of stuff with you guys. Obviously, I've already put out some of the stuff on this channel. I've been putting out some lo-fi jam tracks. You can check the link for those in the description. And also, there's Birds that I put out, a Jazzhop jam. That one has free tab as well, actually, if you want to learn more of this kind of stuff. That's linked below. And also, most recently, When You Smile, I put that one out, video for that one out about a week ago or something like that, and it's all on my Spotify as well. That should be linked below as well if you want to have a listen to that kind of stuff. I also made a playlist actually of some of my favorite guitar-based lo-fi jams, and on Spotify, and you can find that one linked below as well. So there we go. And if you want to get more of these Licks live streams going, I did also make a playlist for that actually, so hit up the link for that. It's all below in the description. That's it, guys. Hope you enjoy the licks. And next week, next Friday, we will have another Licks live stream. So until then, take care. Lots more music coming, lots more jams, all of that good stuff. Appreciate you guys very much. Take care and see you soon.